The Arizona Cardinals coming off one of their most impressive wins of the season. We still got a portion of this fan base really upset about the Arizona Cardinals winning. Is it Marvin Harrison Jr. or bust for the Arizona Cardinals heading into the 2024 season? And do we still have a slight chance of a possibility to get this generational talented wide receiver? Let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. Definitely don't be one of these guys who love to hover around the channel. Just subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. Before we get started, let me give a huge shout out to the sponsor of the Arizona Sports Fan here on YouTube. Huge shout out here to Foco. If you guys haven't checked them out, check out foco.com and search up the Arizona Cardinals. You're able to get some pretty sweet apparel on there. You can go ahead and get some sunglasses, some bracelets, some shorts, some shirts, some overalls for Pete's sake. Right now, if you use promo code AZSports, you can get 10% off at checkout. Check out foco.com. Alright, Amber, let's dive right into it. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals' most impressive win of the season so far. Now, I get it. There's a portion of this fan base right now saying, wow, you're celebrating a pointless win. Now, to me, this isn't a pointless win. I feel like Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon wanted to prove a point. Now, although I don't believe Jonathan Gannon was in the hot seat, right now, I feel like this is one of the most impressive wins from Kyler Murray, and he truly does deserve to get another year, in my opinion, because of how impressive he looked, right? Just the way this offense was flowing, it was just working perfectly. And I really do hope that in the Seattle Seahawks game, we just see a complete, not an elevation, but basically just build off of what just happened here, right? So let's talk about the draft implications and why we got some Cardinal fans in an uproar right now. Because yes, heading into this week's matchup against the Eagles, the Arizona Cardinals were slotted at the second overall spot in the NFL draft, which, depending on the way you look at it, right, I think a lot of Cardinal fans were really hoping that the Chicago Bears were going to move off of Justin Fields, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It definitely seems like the fan base is now starting to rally around Justin Fields, and obviously that gives a little worrisome for Cardinal fans because there's a portion of us that truly want to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and truly feel like it's Marvin Harrison Jr. or bust. Now, I don't feel like that personally, but right now with the win for the Arizona Cardinals, we went from the number 2nd overall and we ended up dropping to the number 4th overall spot in the NFL draft. Now, how does this look right now? We got the Chicago Bears at the number 1, we got the Washington Commanders at number 2, number 3 is the New England Patriots, and then the Arizona Cardinals at the number 4th overall spot. Now, yes, the top 2, 3, and 4 teams have the same record, but if you take a look at the strength of schedule, the Arizona Cardinals have a better strength of schedule. So we're going to have the 4th overall spot behind the New England Patriots and the Washington Commanders. So we're taking a look here at the number 2 and number 3 pick. The Chicago Bears, I still kind of feel like most of the NFL is looking at to see what they're going to do. It almost kind of seems like the trend of they're going to continue with Justin Fields, and then that kind of leaves Cardinal fans worried, right? So what can the Chicago Bears do? They can actually trade back with 2 teams, literally number 2 or number 3, just really depending on what the Commanders want. Do they want to get Caleb Williams? Is that who New England wants, right? It all kind of just depends on who is willing to go to that number 1 overall spot here in the NFL draft. Now, if I was the Chicago Bears and if I was the GM over there, I would trade back because there's nobody in the top 3 that's going to have them worried about them possibly getting Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, right now, if the Cardinals were sitting at the number 2, that's definitely a different situation that we're going to be finding ourselves in. Right now, that's a little worrisome for the Chicago Bears, but now this is kind of the perfect scenario for them. They could trade back to the number 2, they could trade back to number 3 and get more draft picks the further down they go, but that means Marvin Harrison Jr. is most likely not going to be available for the Arizona Cardinals unless the Chicago Bears make a deal with somebody after the Arizona Cardinals. Then, obviously, if there's 3 quarterbacks go in the top 3, 1, 2, and 3, then we're going to find ourselves in a Marvin Harrison Jr. literally falling in the laps of the Arizona Cardinals. And I feel like if that does happen, that's going to be the route the Cardinals go. But I still do think in a world that if Marvin Harrison goes, right, before we go picking, which might happen, especially if the Chicago Bears make a deal with the Commanders or the New England Patriots, I'm okay with it. Like, it's not that I'm okay with it. I don't think it's the end of the world to me personally, because honestly, if we're sitting at the number 4 spot, we still have a possibility of Jalen Daniels being available, which is another quarterback that's kind of skyrocketing up people's draft boards. Maybe we can be that guy to get somebody to trade up to the number 4 spot to possibly get him. Or the Cardinals could just kind of trade back with somebody and then get an Olu Fashanu, a Joel Holt, right? Somebody to bolster up that offensive line. Now, some guy I've been talking about a lot recently is Rome Odunze. I feel like this is a guy that really isn't talked about very much because Marvin Harrison Jr. seemed to be a generational talented prospect, coming into this year's draft. We have a lot of the wide receivers after him don't really get a lot of attention, right? Like your Rome Odunze or even a Malik Neighbors. So I still think the Arizona Cardinals can make out like a bandit. Now, yes, we did fall 2 draft spots, but it's not like we fell way back down to number 10, right? I have the faith and the trust that Monty Austinford is going to be able to pick the best person or the best player for the Arizona Cardinals to, make us a better team at the end of the day. We've talked about this multiple times on this podcast that the Arizona Cardinals have the money to spend, and we got, 6 picks in the top 100. It's fine. It's not the end of the day because we moved 2 draft spots, right? I honestly think that this win is a huge win because now we don't have to worry about, oh, what if Drake May falls? Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens, right? Now we can solidify Kyler Murray being, you are a franchise quarterback. Let's worry about building around you. Honestly, this is kind of a blessing in disguise, especially if you are a pro keep Kyler Murray type of guy. This is kind of what you want. You don't want the Cardinals to be in the 2nd overall spot. You don't want them to be the number 1 overall spot because that right there comes with anxiety. That right there comes with stress, and it kind of leaves a lot of gray area for the organization to really think and say, what if we did this, right? So honestly, if you're a pro Kyler Murray guy, that this is a perfect scenario because there is a spot or there is a sliver of hope that you could possibly still get a Marvin Harrison Jr. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I think the Chicago Bears are going to swoop him up regardless if they trade back to number 2 or number 3. This is the best scenario for them to kind of live in a world where they're at. Justin Fields has done enough, in my opinion, for them to stay with him. And if they don't, I would be absolutely shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if they do move off of Justin Fields because we heard the fan base. We were the fan base saying we want Fields. We want Fields, and we also even heard DJ Moore, the wide receiver of the Chicago Bears, come in here and chime in on the thought and the idea of maybe adding a Marvin Harrison Jr. to their roster. And guess what? They have a connection with each other. Let's dive into what he said.
Tape on Marvin Harrison Jr. then? I grew up with Marvin Harrison. We ran on the same track team, so I mean, whatever we do, we get him, and it'll be all love. If we go a different route, I mean, what can I do about it?
Well, it seems like the stars are aligning for the Chicago Bears, and let's be honest, DJ Moore and a Marvin Harrison Jr. would be an absolute huge upgrade to their wide receiving core. And yeah, I get it. There's Cardinal fans that are really upset. They're really mad, but please keep under the understanding that we want to keep as much momentum as we possibly can heading into the next year, and hopefully having a healthy Kyler Murray for the full 17 game schedule is going to get us in a situation where we can build around him. He can stay healthy. We can shore up that offensive line, get him some more weapons, because like I said earlier, there are still some really good wide receivers outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think at the end of the day, to me, it's not Marvin Harrison Jr. or bust. I am trusting Monty Austinford to build up this roster upright and get it right. This win was very impressive, and you should be happy about it. You should celebrate it because honestly, wins don't come very often for the Arizona Cardinals, and this is a huge, huge revenge game for Jonathan Gannon, especially because all that smack that we're talking about our head coach Jonathan Gannon heading into this year about, him losing the Super Bowl for him, and I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagle fans out there, so please keep in mind that. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Put it in the comments below. Are you one of those guys that feel like it's Marvin Harrison Jr. or bust? Let me know here in the comments. I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cards.